We all know that 0.3 bar or 0.3 repeating is the same thing as 1/3 as a fraction. The fact is that any decimal that repeats, we could turn that into a fraction. So for instance, let's take a look at 0.2 bar. First thing I want to do is I want to call that x. Now you know that 0.2 bar means 0.222 forever. Now what I want to do is I want to multiply this x by two numbers. One number that is going to put the decimal right in front of the repeat, where it is now in this problem, and another number that's going to put it just right after the repeat. If I want to put the decimal right in front of the repeat, I'm not going to have to do anything. So I'm going to say that I multiplied the x by 1. And that's 0.2 bar. If I want to move the decimal one spot past the repeat, I'm going to multiply by 10. And if I multiply 0.2 bar by 10, that takes this decimal, moves it here. So what I have is I have 2.2 bar. Now what I've done is I've lined up my decimals because what I want to do here is I want to subtract these two columns. This 2.2 bar and this 0.2 bar, all of this repeating decimal will subtract away and leave you with a 2. 10x take away the 1x is 9x, and then if I divide, we get 2/9. Okay? Let's say we have 1.5 bar with the 5 repeating. I'm going to go ahead and call that my x. I'm going to multiply this by two numbers. One that puts the decimal right in front of the repeat where it is now. So I'm going to say again, just like in the last example, I multiplied this by 1. And then I'm going to multiply it by something that'll put the decimal beyond the repeat. And just like in the last example, I'm going to multiply by 10. And I put the higher number of x's on top so that the subtraction is easier. 1.5 bar multiplied by 10 will be 15.5 bar. Subtract. This 5 bar, these 5s that are repeating will subtract away. This gives me 14, 15 minus 1, 10x minus the 1x, and then I divide. What if we have a 2-digit repeat? I'm going to call x 0.25 with the 2 and the 5 repeating. So that's 0.25, 25, 25, 25. I want to move the decimal and multiply to put the decimal right in front of the repeat. That's going to require a 1. I want to move the decimal beyond the repeat. So I need to move that decimal 2 places. That means I will multiply by 100 this time. 100 times 2.252525 will be 25.252525. These repeating decimals subtract away. Divide. And you should always check your work with your calculator. If you were to type that into your calculator, you will see that that checks. What if we have a decimal 2-digit, but only one of the digits, this last digit repeats? So let's say x is equal to 0.21 with just the 1 repeating. I want to multiply this by two numbers, one that puts the decimal immediately in front and one that puts it immediately behind. So to put it immediately in front, I'll need to move one place. So I'm going to multiply by 10. 10 times 0.21 with the 1s repeating will be 2.1 with the 1s repeating. And to move it over here to the other side, I'll multiply by 100. 100 times 0.21 with the 1 repeating will be 21 with the 1s repeating. Draw my bar. Subtract these 1s that are repeating, that gives me a 19. 100x minus 10x is 90x. Divide the 90. And one more example. Say we had a 3-digit decimal. This time x is equal to 0.756 with the 5, 6 repeating. I'm going to multiply by something that'll put the decimal in front of the repeat. That's one spot. That'll be a 10x. 10x times the 0.756 with the 5/6 repeating will be 7.56 with the 5/6 continuing to repeat. This time I want to move the decimal beyond the repeat. That's 3 decimal spots. I multiplied by 1,000. 1,000 times 750.75656 repeating will be 756 with the 5/6s repeating. Draw your bar, subtract these repeating decimals. 756 minus 7 will be 749. 1,000, that should have been 1,000 there. 1,000x minus the 10x is 990x. And then when I divide, and you should always reduce your fractions. You should check your work with your calculator. And remember, your calculator has a button that'll help you reduce fractions. Hey, I hope you learned something.